And we started.
It's not agua cara. This is expensive water right here.
Nah, bro. It's not expensive.
You want me to introduce or you want to introduce it?
I guess I'll start.
Got it. Go ahead.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to
Lanco Wednesday.
Welcome to Lanco Wednesday, a new segment from Lanco Tuesday. Welcome to our new podcast. This is Lanco.
This is Valdez. What's up, man?
How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing great. Welcome. We're excited to start the show. And this is Freya. Nope, you can't even see her. Never mind. But here we are. What's up, guys? We're gonna talk about a lot of great things. We're gonna talk about photography, videography, business, clients, struggles, all of it. ¿Qué más? We're gonna be Spanglish, maybe.
Yeah, sometimes we can be Spanglish.
Yeah, that's gonna be just because.
Yeah, the slant.
Like, that's not even because we want it to be. It's just gonna happen.
It's natural. Yep. You wanna introduce yourself? Introduce like where you from, how long you been doing photography, a little bit about your journey, real quick.
Yeah, that's actually really good. Wow. So, where? Who am I?
She's getting shy. It's like
damn. Hold on, I
gotta epiphany.
I gotta go, guys. I don't know. Yo quiero como restart.
I can start if you wanna hear my.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's try both.
So
Get him agua.
Nah, this
damn,
is
bro, you fucking swallowed that shit. Better. I gotta bring the pitcher here. He said that's expensive water.
Nah, it was a little
Toma,
bit.
bro.
It feels like finer. Oh, that's why it's filtered.
Yo tengo un filtro.
Nice.
Así.
That's gonna be way too much.
No, drink. Toma. We gotta talk a lot.
Chug.
Chug. No, que vamos a beber mucho.
We can cut it. We can cut it.
Start over. Start over. It's okay.
You wanna do the introduction or you wanna start where we left it?
We start brand new.
Okay, got you. Hey, what's up, guys? This is Lanco's Tuesday. Wednesday.
It's Lanco Wednesday now.
It's Lanco Wednesday. So we are here on the valley. We're trying to do this thing where I haven't seen this on the industry. A lot of photographer and stuff or videographer out there talking about their struggle, their uniqueness, what make them themselves, and we are here to talk a little bit about that. So that's what we're here for. Yep.
Welcome to the new podcast. Welcome to Lanco Wednesdays, the new segment from Lanco Tuesday. One day after the other. Well, we are very excited. I think it's great to, this is going to be something where we share our experiences, we share our thoughts, our ideas. And me and Valdez, we got differing opinions on a lot of stuff. So
oh man,
I think it's gonna be a good show because you can see the discussion between two different sides, right? And then of course we can't wait to engage with you guys in the community because we want to hear your thoughts as well and your experiences also.
Yep.
So overall, I'm really excited about this project, and it's new. This is a first for me, and I'm into trying new stuff.
Nice.
So
that's awesome. So a little bit about myself. Been in the industry for 15 years. Nobody knows me, which is dope.
What do you mean that's dope? That's not good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's not good.
I'm low profile. I low profile, but people The people out there know me a bit, but I'm like low.
You're low key.
Yeah, exclusive.
So,
People have a thing about me.
okay.
Yeah, they kind of.
What do they say about Valdez?
Yeah, there's those that put
Wait,
me
bro, you're
on
talking. You already started the show. You already talking about yourself. I didn't even introduce myself.
Well, let's hear it. Let's hear about yourself, man.
Here, we'll get into Valdez's chisme in a little bit, but. So I go by Lanco. My name is Anthony, and I am
Anthony Santo.
Anthony Santo, el cantante del barrio. Damn. And Ralphie, shout out to you because you always call me that every time we worked at Great Wolf. This is like more than a decade ago, almost 15 years ago. Feels crazy. Nice. But anyway, we'll talk about my lifeguard roots in the future. But I am Lanco. I've been doing photography now for about 8 years consecutively. Really started getting the hang of things. Yeah, I'm new to this. I've been getting I've been getting really serious about it over the last few years. However, I think that unlike Valdez, I try to be more social in the community, and I think it's important to have a presence.
Nice.
And to share value.
Nice.
And I'm constantly learning. Like, I'm okay to be bad at stuff. Like, video, I'm learning that stuff.
You need a color grading skill. Oh,
I need all that.
I'm struggling there too. Trust me.
Listen,
it's a struggle, man.
And where you realize you can grow, that's how you get better. So
yeah, I made a post about that the other day. That when you think you know everything, that's open way for other people to teach you a lesson. Yeah, because like you can never know everything, so there's always gonna be somebody who's gonna tell you something new today or tomorrow.
That's actually true. Yeah, that's important. I think it's always important, and I've heard this always, like, always stay learning, like, always, because
that's most of the professionals out there. They will say like always learn, always like it's like go out there, try new things. They're always gonna say that. That's one of the things, like keep yourself busy. Yeah. And do stuff just different from what others are doing. Most of the time, that's why I hear.
That's true. Yeah, no, I hear it too. And really, if you hear it from a lot of professionals and even business owners, they always say, don't act like you're the smartest person in the room. Just show up.
Even and ask questions.
Even if you know.
If you know. But me on my end, I'm a little bit bold. So like, I'm like that. Like, I throw it out there. Like, I'm like, sorry, that's not the right color palette.
See, like, but a lot of people could disagree.
Yeah, I know. That's okay with me, because I know. I have like my true self. I know, like I'm a wolf person. Like I go for it. That's my like I want, like if I will be different, trying to be friendly, and which I'm friendly by the way. But like if I'm trying to be like nice to everybody that I think they're not nice, that's a fake personality of myself. I like to be both. Like I like if I see you doing something wrong, I'm gonna tell you like, Lanco, those ISOs are too high, man. But that's me. That's my way of like be like, hey, there's room for you to grow.
Agreed. Now that brings an interesting topic. It's because you can do that, right? And that's how you are. And right, for someone like me, I'm okay with accepting that. Even if even if you tell me that I'm wrong or that I'm whatever, and I say, cool, I don't really care. Because it starts there. Like, you have to either be willing to accept someone's opinion and have them, because again, art, right, in the photography world and video world, it is subjective at the end of the day.
It is.
And there is there still is, I hate to say it, but there really is bad photography and bad photographers. Man. There still is that, because they don't ever want
what
to.
is you feeling when you see that somebody who's being like 5 years and they're still using like the wrong color science, they're still using high flash, I know there is kind of photography that is like fashion, like paparazzi,
Sure.
like style. But there's some people who use that as an excuse, like, and you can tell when it wasn't used, like, it doesn't look like paparazzi at all. It was just that they didn't know how to do off-camera flash, and you have background light in there, and you like,
That's true.
that's not it. But how do you feel? Like, what's your feeling when you see that?
So that's kind of hard for me because you never know. Actually, you can. If maybe somebody has their whole portfolio, right? You can see like, oh, maybe this is the style that they're going for.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yep.
But if they have like extremely different styles all across their portfolio, I think that that's where you kind of you can raise a red flag and say like, hey, what are you trying to achieve? Are you still looking for your style? Like, what are you trying to do? And maybe you could have a conversation, right? Instead of assuming that they're bad at what they do, it could be a conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like you could be like, hey, what are you achieving here?
Have you seen those people? That's a great point that you have, and I like it. But have you seen those people who like overexpose, like really bad? You cannot tell me that's a style.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, overexposing the subject or
the subject.
Oh,
like,
yeah, that's not good.
Like blowing out there is no details.
Highlights.
You know about the histogram, yeah?
Yeah.
There's no on the histogram. There's no like detail at all.
Oof.
Like,
for those of you, let's take a quick pause because there's some listeners who might not know who that is. A histogram is it's a tool.
It's a graph representing where you highlight, where you
Shadows,
shadow, and brightness of the photo is. Like, it's just a guide for you to know whether a photo is gonna be overexposed or underexposed. All of that stuff. Even with the colors, you can tell where the colors are more saturated in the image as well.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. It's just a tool that shows your shadows, midtones, and highlights. And the more even across the board it looks, the better it's going to be overall, right? However, there are some photographers that like to shoot overexposed or like to shoot underexposed because...
And I've seen that style, and sometimes they kind of do it in a manner that makes sense.
Yes.
But there is like some stuff that you've seen that you're like, that wasn't
a little too much. I mean, I think when you start, I think this matters where you have to ask yourself the question, like, what are you trying to achieve in the image, right? Because,
good point.
What if they are overexposing their background, but they're bringing a lot of detail to the subject? That's acceptable, right? Because the subject is the most important part of the image.
Definitely.
For every photographer, right? You want to, there's the rule of thirds. There's a lot of stuff we can get into, however, but there's a subject that you're shooting. There's a reason you took that photo. So it's almost like, what's the focus here?
I feel like sometimes the problem that happened to a lot of like newer photographers is that they seeing a work and want to replicate it, but they don't know the technique, how to replicate that work, and they trying to imitate what they see out there. Because I have this happen to me a lot of time where people ask me, like, come to me and be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'm like, well, those photos are like, they're trying to do like a softer look.
Yeah.
But for the softer look, you're gonna have two options. It's either you're gonna use a filter, or you're gonna grab the detail and lower it down to a point where it's blurry and you miss the details. So you end up not having a lot of detail because you bring them down. And a lot of the newer photographers do this mistake a lot, where they bring their detail just to soften the photo and they ruin it.
That's a good point,
bro.
I'm not gonna lie, I used to be that guy. I used to be that guy. Anytime, listen, once I got into portrait photography, I just love the way it made the subject look soft and you can good, and the lighting gets even.
You can use it, but with the it's called a local adjustment. And with a local
See,
adjustment.
but I didn't know that then. I didn't know. I would just.
I didn't think Photoshop had a local adjustment back there, man.
See, it's all about not. It's just. It's if you know or don't know. There's a lot of tools. Like, listen. What do you use? Like, what do you use to edit your photos?
I use primarily Lightroom, but before that, I use Google had the PC set. I think it was called. Man, it was like. It was another dimension of
Google
editing.
had what program?
It was like something called Pixel. If I'm not mistaken.
Pixel. Oh wow, that's.
That's
a long time ago.
I have to look the name of that, but there's still another company bought them. I not quite remember Oxa or something like that. They bought them and they still sell the program, but the editing here was next level. Compared to Lightroom, Lightroom is good for batch editing, but Lightroom has a lot of limitation. It's just a standard industry, but like there's other software out there killing Lightroom right now as we speak. Yeah, nah, for real.
Well, screw them.
Yeah, no, I know Lightroom is the go-to. I like that. The Lightroom is like the go-to.
It is.
But there's like a lot of other software killing Lightroom in terms of flexibility with your images. Yep.
I don't know. I think so. Here's my opinion. I think Lightroom is a phenomenal tool. If you are a beginner, amateur, or professional photographer, I think Lightroom is a phenomenal tool to use because it has a lot of tools within it that can allow you to change a lot for your image, right? You can do all your main adjustments, but then it has the color grading, and you can even get granular.
When they added the color grading, it was a game changer.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And you know, I gotta give it to Adobe. Listen, I hate subscription models, but everything has become a subscription. Like going to the bathroom is about to be a subscription, bro. Like, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I'm just tired of and they're raising their prices to $14.99 a month if you have the creator package.
Yep.
So if you don't know, Adobe Creative Cloud, you get 20 gigabytes of cloud space, and then you get Lightroom, Photoshop, camera.
You get
camera
Bridge.
raw. You get Bridge, and I think that's it. And you pay $9.99 and then $10.59 after tax if you pay monthly. There's no option to pay ahead of time or anything unless you buy the program. And you can't even buy the program outright. But because of all these AI tools that they're adding...
I miss those days, man.
I know.
Where you could
like Final Cut Pro, I just got into video. I'm so... Wait, real quick. Before we get into that, hold on.
Oh, man.
But Lightroom is increasing, or Adobe is increasing their prices to $14.99 a month now for creators. So photographers, increase your price. All right,
and that's not even like that. You're talking about like the student package, because if you're a business owner and you buy the business package, that's even more.
Bro, that's insane. I don't know how I get student pricing, but Adobe, you don't know anything.
Oh man,
dude. But that's even funny. Like Apple, I love for creators in general, like music producers, photographers, videographers. Like Final Cut Pro is one of those programs where you buy it once and that's it. And you have all these incredible tools at your disposal from Final Cut. And yeah, it may be different from DaVinci and all this other stuff. And I understand, like, a lot of people say, oh, DaVinci's amazing at color grading. It has more tools. But it's like, my thing about anything is find what works for you.
Yep.
Anytime somebody asks me, hey, what camera should I buy? I heard about this Canon GFX.
Oh, boy,
I'm like, bro,
we are into something right here.
Oh, my gosh.
Like, that's my thing with the gear that I use, as I was telling Lanco, is stuff that is going to be useful for my workflow. Like, I don't buy a 70-200 just because it looks nice or because it's big. It has to be functional. I have used my 70-200 maybe 10 or 20 times, but I'd be lying if I said 20 times. Like, I don't even pull it out that much because it's one of those tools you use at a ceremony or reception. Long range stuff, like, I don't do a lot of long range, mostly portraits. That's the 85. A 35 is also for portrait, but mainly 85 and 50. Those are the lenses that go to for And there's 135, which are amazing.
That's true.
Yeah, they are amazing for portraits. But I have gears that is like, even I use Tamron. People say Tamron, they be like, "Well, you have a Tamron because it's lighter." I'm gonna be on a wedding more than 12 hours, so I want lighter stuff.
Yeah, that don't,
So like
gear. So I think that's an important thing you bring up, right? I think that again, I think you should find what works for you.
Yeah.
If you can afford it, great. Get the, like, for you Sony shooters, you guys love the G Master lenses, and honestly, like the Carl Zeiss lenses that they make, absolutely incredible. But not a lot of people can afford them, right? So like there are third-party lenses like Tamron, Sigma. They're even making the new lenses for the new E mounts and for Nikon Z mounts, and they're becoming more proprietary, which is nice. However, you know, these lenses, right, they're prime and main lenses in their lineup. They can go from $2,500, $3,000 all the way up to like $5,000 and more. There's lenses that cost 50 grand if you get into the cinema line.
For no reason.
Well, no, it's for a reason. But
I mean,
I'm saying for like creators like us, there's no reason.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
you need to, you know, go and get yourself
like
a $10,000
I feel
lens.
like lenses, everything in the industry is inflated. Like they trying to sell you a feature, and sometimes you can fix it up on post production, like if it's like something minor. But it's not necessary when it comes to like an image. I hate those people who are nitpicking at like the life
aberration,
bro. Like, come on, Lightroom has that solved. Or there's those people. Have you come across those people who look at the light color of a flash and they're like, oh, because this one is more accurate? I have people like that I unfriend them just because I didn't want to hear them talking about little stuff. Man, when you're working with editing software, with photo, with imagery, I know you want accuracy. Of course you do, but sometimes you will get that done on post. Like, you don't even need to get down there.
Now look, don't get it wrong. Like, I think one of the most important things I've learned as a creator and as a photographer is get it right in post before you do a post. Now the reason I say that is because you don't understand how much time you save when you do it right the first time, when you get your exposure right, when you get your composition right, when you get your white balance right. Like, there's so many small fundamentals that I think people miss, that at this point, if you ask me like, oh, how did you take this image? I'm not gonna be like, oh, I did this, this, and this. It comes like second nature because I've been doing it for so long. But I think it's become the practice of doing the fundamentals for so long that it becomes natural in a way, so that I don't have to think like, oh, when I'm in, like, for example, I did a shoot the other day and it was inside of a hair studio. Oh, man. And the windows were wide open.
What about those yellow lights they always have?
They didn't. they had LEDs.
Oh, nice.
And this was a beautiful space, but it was also like 7 p.m. The sun was setting and the sun was shining through the window.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
And it was amazing.
Nice.
And guess what? I didn't leave my or my white balance on auto because I knew I was getting natural light. Yeah. So I switched it to natural light, and guess what? On my histogram, it was like a perfect readout.
Nice.
Because you adjust for the exposure, the aperture, and everything else, and then cameras are so powerful now that they do the
it's
work.
Funny, a lot of people miss that there is a different way of measuring the light, and a lot of people jump that process, and there's like a lot of shutter thing that people don't know about. Like they will miss that. And like, I wanted to ask you a question, because we're talking about like cameras. Like, my camera, when I bought it, I like my camera. I have a Sony R5, and the reason why I have my camera is because I have a lot of flexibility. As a photographer, I get to play a lot with the raw files. I get to play a lot because I got a lot of room. So I want to ask you, why before I finish with like why you buy your camera, but like the reason why I have my camera is because I have extra space. Like I can shoot a photo, and when I'm shooting it, I know I'm missing space, but I don't overthink too much because I know I have extra room to play with. So those are things that I think ahead of time when I'm shooting, because sometimes I have my focus is gonna be a little bit on the left or a little bit on the right, but I know I have room. Sometimes I might crop a little bit of the head, but I'm not cropping the head. I know the head is gonna be there because I have a little bit of flexibility on my camera. So when I purchased my camera, there was those things like, does it have two SD card? Does it have extra room? Does it have dynamic range? I don't know about you.
So what do you mean by? What do you mean by extra room?
Extra room. So basically, when my camera takes a photo, I do a 16 by 9. Is it 16 by 9 or
okay,
9 by 16?
The aspect ratio?
The aspect ratio is 16 by 9, but the camera is 4 by 3. It's like the whole sensor thing.
Okay.
So basically, you like using something, but you have extra room.
Well, yeah, because obviously the 4x3 is going to translate to 16 by 9
on a raw file.
On a raw file, if you expand it.
Yeah, but like if you take a JPEG, you're screwed.
Yeah, that's true because it crops.
Yeah,
or not crops. It's just less. There's less data in the image.
Exactly. So when it comes to things like that, like I'm one of the photographers who like to shoot underexposed in certain situation, because I know if my camera has a 14 dynamic range, I could bring the light up, and it's better to underexpose than just shooting the exact lighting condition. Because when you underexpose and you utilize like your ISO, you have less noise. So I like to bring the brightness up.
So you bring up
the camera thing.
I mean, you bring up a good point, because like I don't even care about that stuff. Like when I bought my camera, I wasn't thinking about dynamic range. Was that
like your first or third, fourth camera?
That's a good question.
Your latest camera? Because like that's, for me, it was like I was looking for those things. Like my camera is for landscape, and especially for landscape work, and it has the flexibility to do the others, you know. Because Sony make a camera for sport, one for video. Yeah. Do you know their market? That's their market, man. But
so I'm not a Sony shooter. I'm a Nikon shooter.
Nice.
I'm probably one of the only ones alive, to be honest. We're a rare breed these days. But you wouldn't even see, like, this is why I hate the question, like, oh, what do you shoot with? Because it's like, it doesn't matter.
You know what's funny?
Like, my clients love my images, and guess what? They don't even care. They don't. When you show up on a shoot, they're not gonna be like, oh, he's a Sony photographer. He knows what he's doing.
You know what's funny? I feel like all these Sony shooters, they're just freeloaders. Because I started with Sony. Yeah, nah, they are.
What do you mean?
Because I started with Sony, and like most people, they switch. I didn't switch.
A lot of people switch.
I was born Sony. And you know why I bet on Sony? Because Sony were doing things like I had it was an A77. They had GPS built in on the camera, a flip out screen, even before flip out screen were a thing, and they had, like, it was the first camera that had 24 megapixels back in 2012. Like, you can look. There was not a camera.
2012. Well, no, they were the first ones to make mirrorless cameras.
Not really. I think it was Panasonic or Pentax.
Yeah, it was. I'm sorry, but we have to do some research and get back.
I know they started the next line, and they were not even called mirrorless camera back then, because they weren't a thing. Like, mirrorless wasn't a thing back there.
No, it was
just reflex.
Even then, I mean, look, when I started, I had a freaking digital. I had a Nikon D3000.
Nice.
That was gifted to me by my uncle. Shout out.
That's like a $700 camera. That's
it's great, dude. At the time, it was like 20. It was like 2013, 2014. I got it for free. It was
Nice.
it was a graduation gift from my uncle. He just gave me his camera. He said, "Hey, here's some lenses. Here's my camera." I upgraded to he got a D3400.
Oh, that was a
So
good
I was like,
camera.
"Oh
I
wow,
remember
that was their newer version of the entry line model." So I was like, "Great." I took this D3000 and I practiced and I used it all the time. And then my friend Andrew showed me what a prime lens was. And I was like, "What's a prime lens?" And he's like, "Bro, it doesn't
That's
zoom."
the hack. That's the hack.
That is a hack.
Because when you have
What's up, Freya?
when you have the key lens, it's like you're limited with the aperture.
Okay, hold on. I have something to say about that. You are if you don't know what you're doing. In this case, I had no idea what I was doing. Because at the end of the day, the quality of your image highly depends on light.
Yeah.
If you have, I've seen photographers that have a stupid ass budget camera
And they killing it.
creating crazy studio work because they figured out how to manipulate light.
Yep.
Well, we'll get into that in a second, but to answer your question, I started with the D3000. I practiced for a while until I realized my limitations with the camera. I always waited until I found my limitations with the camera to upgrade.
Nice.
And so after that, I ended up upgrading to a D. I think I got like a D.
The 750, that was a nice
I got a
camera.
D750 actually.
Oh
That was my
God,
first
the
full frame
D750.
DSLR, digital single lens reflex. That's what that stands
Nice.
for. And dude, that camera was like the best.
It's
I had
still to
that.
this day, I know photographers that still uses that
I know that,
camera.
yeah, and the D850. Like, if you're not going mirrorless and you still want a single reflex camera, those are phenomenal.
You know something that I love about Nikon that a lot of people don't mention? That they have
Please.
they have filters in their camera. I don't know if you guys know this, but I don't know the term, but when you have a clothing and you have a texture, you have like a weird pattern, a weird color, that has a term. I just don't remember, but Nikon camera, they do have that filter. Not all of them, some of them, which you can filter out and not get like on the cloth, on the dress, you don't get that tearing. That's like, I think it's called like
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you
like
don't
how when you look in post process and it looks like the clothing looks kind of weird.
Yeah,
it looks like rips.
Yeah,
digital rips. In the clothes almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
know what you
like, it doesn't tear with the Nikons. They figured out they have like a filter for that, and that's
See, I didn't
like
even know that.
something. There's I think that's the D. 7 I think it was like the D80, one of those cameras had that, and I wanted that camera because I was doing a lot of events, and I figured like some of
Like
the
a lot of fashion events or just events in general?
events in general, like like Swiss Sisting, stuff like that. And I started seeing all this clothing with this line, and I was like, oh man. But
it's annoying.
it is.
Back then, you didn't have the tools to
Back then it
edit
was
them
more
out. It was
obvious.
Photoshop.
It was more obvious back then, but now that has faded a little bit because of the lenses. They have a better.
Well,
optic.
even just the newer cameras. I mean,
Yeah.
you look. For anybody that asks me what camera should I buy, I always just say whatever you can afford, just buy a camera.
When they said the best camera is the one you have in your pocket.
That one too. That's the best line I use. But the reality is, like, if you are shopping for a camera, right? You can follow the hype. You can buy whatever hype camera there is. But if you don't know
what you're doing,
it does not matter.
Yeah.
I've seen the amount of times someone has asked me or said, "Hey, I just bought this Sony A7R4.
Oh my god.
And I bought this lens and I spent $7,000 on this whole camera bundle." And I'm like, why? And it's their first camera.
To collect dust, that's what you bought it for.
And it's their first camera. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
You started on the big boy club.
I know a lot of people who do that mistake, and on the long run, 7 years later, you like ask for them and they're not doing photography no more.
7 years? You mean 6 months?
Yeah.
No, they don't even know, because look, the thing is like.
But I'm saying like they're not mentioning anymore. Like they're not on the photography realm.
Yeah,
no
I
more.
get that.
Yeah.
The thing is that I feel like people do is they follow the hype so much, and they get this camera and they're so excited, and then it's like, awesome, I have this amazing camera, why aren't the pictures good? And it's like, because you suck. You suck.
Oh man, I just hate when people say like, oh,
It's like if you buy the Porsche, but you don't know how to drive, and you crash it in a day after you take it.
Which we have seen a lot of that, you know.
You know, like I think that is smart.
That's like any like Formula One, like you give it to a random person. You
they're done.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's gonna happen.
They're dead.
Yeah, that's what happened when it's like you have a Ferrari, but you don't know how to use it. Going back to what you were saying before, I'm one of those photographers where when I had that A77, that camera was very limited to me because I couldn't go over 300 ISO. I couldn't go over 300 ISO. Like it was very damaged,
so
destroyed.
granular.
It was destroyed. So that was a camera that has I think it was a 3-axis sensor stabilization, which there was a plus. Sony started building their stabilization in the sensors, which is different from Canon and the IBIS.
Nikon.
Yeah, they do it on the lenses. Canon and Nikon do it on the lenses, but Sony, they do on both, but mainly on the camera. So when they have that back then, I could
do it on the lenses and
handheld.
the bodies. They do both.
Yeah, no, I know that, but like what I'm saying, like back in the day when I had that sensor, I could shoot on 60. Like that was an advantage. Any Canon or Nikon people, they couldn't shoot on 60 because they didn't have stabilization on their sensors. So that was like extra, you know. That was like a plus.
You had a one up, but it's like.
But
this is why we say like Sony really. I wouldn't say they pioneered, but they really paved the way for what a lot of cameras are today. I mean, they really did take the market by storm, right? You know, they were one of the first flagship cameras to go into the market that people were like, oh my God, they're doing so amazing.
And you know what? What happened?
And then
that why that happened. That why Sony was the first one to go in the digital era.
Yeah.
There was this guy. For those who don't know, there was this guy that used to work for oh my God, I hope I'm saying this right.
We're about to get some knowledge.
Bro. So back in the day, Fujifilm was dominating the market, and then there was this guy who worked for Fujifilm, and he brings this concept camera that can record the images digital. But Fujifilm, you know how every company have their vision, their mission. So their vision was like, hey, we only produce film. That's our thing. This guy come with this new camera and like hey, you guys wanna implement this? And they were like, nah, that's not our vision. So this guy went to Sony and was like, hey, I have this, and that's how that thing started. That's how Sony entered the market.
You know how crazy
with
that
digital
is? Because Fujifilm now is one of the best digital cameras on the market. So you guys are fake. Even though I have a Fuji X106, it's one of my favorite cameras. It made me fall back in love with photography. The only time I'll ever support buying gear is if it's actually going to make you interested in what it is that you're doing again. Because there was a moment where and we can get into this in another episode, but there was a moment where I didn't want to do photography anymore, and I wanted to just give up. I wanted to sell my stuff, and it's not that I saw the hype over Fujifilm. I didn't even know there was a hype. My friend had a Fuji X-T2, the small frame or the small crop sensor. I think it's a Micro Four Thirds.
Those Micro Four Thirds were very popular.
And it was very good, and it's small. It had the Fuji's popular, what do you call it? Dang, it just slipped my mind. Not filters, but they had presets. They had their presets, their film simulations. So they had their film simulations that you can use right within camera in your JPEGs.
That is so dope.
They were edited already. So after shooting with his camera and hearing the leaf shutter on that camera, it was so satisfying. And I was like, wow, maybe and it made me want to switch from Nikon to Fuji.
I almost switched from Sony to Canon. I almost did that because
that's interesting.
When
because every Canon person is switching to Sony.
Because they know we got it. So back then, just the colors, man. Sony had like this weird green, which was awful. Yeah, it was like purple and green on Sony.
That's
like a skin, like on the skins, they were bad. Sony were bad. Like now they're good with the colors, but like back then, like that wasn't a thing. Like Sony wasn't a thing in terms of color. Now they got better, but like when I tried that Canon,
I was gonna say Sony. I feel like Sony and Canon dominate the market when it comes to color from straight out of camera.
From a straight out of camera, okay.
I think that RAW, they have good color.
Yeah, they have nurtured those color over
and Nikon, I think, and as a Nikon shooter, I think Nikon photos are more flat in color, but they have more data to play with. Right? Because a lot of people make fun of Nikon because everyone's like, oh, if you have Nikon, you only shoot nature. You only shoot buildings and like landscape, and it's not true. Like there's a lot of phenomenal photographers who shoot Nikon and shoot weddings, they shoot portraits, they shoot like F1 races. I mean, these cameras can handle a lot, and in today's world, like these cameras can handle almost anything. So you really, this is why I ultimately say you get what you like and what you're used to.
Yeah.
Because trust me, if you want to make a switch, phenomenal. I wish you the best. Go for it. If that's what's gonna make you happy, great. But the reality is, all the fundamentals you learned on the body that you learned on, you're gonna have to relearn again on a whole new platform.
That's
and
why.
one
That's
thing
why,
people have told
man.
me, and you can tell me because you shoot Sony. I hear the number one complaint from every photographer that switches to Sony is, I hate their user interface because it's confusing to use in the beginning. Canon
Sony, and this is where it's funny because now it's even better. Like. But it's a disaster to find stuff because they have like thousands of pages, like thousand, and
that's crazy.
There's category that they put it like where like you serious, like you should have put that on the first page. Like, what is this? And you can choose things to be favorite, and like that's how crazy the menu is. Like, the Sony manual is like a dictionary, so you can choose which one. Which one is your favorite, so you can find it right away.
Okay.
But I feel like one thing I love about Sony is flexibility. They give you flexibility outside of the box in terms of lenses, in terms of like people talk about like G Master, but like there's a lot of manufacturers doing lenses for Sony. And
you know, one of my favorite manufacturers for lenses that a lot of people sleep on, Viltrox.
I was gonna say it. They killing it.
Viltrox is killing it in the third-party lens market. If you're looking for a third party, this is not sponsored, but if you're looking for a third party lens and you're looking for an affordable lens, dude, Viltrox lenses are absolutely amazing. I have a 16 millimeter 2.8 for real estate that I use.
Okay.
It is one of the best lenses I've ever used.
Nice.
And that's all I use. It's perfect for real estate. It's perfect for a wide angle camera lens, and it has it's light. The colors that come from it and what the image that it captures is really great. I mean, I have nothing but great things to say.
I want to go back because you say, I think you're primary. You love primes lenses versus zoom
False.
versus.
That's a lie.
I'm asking you the question because like that sounds like you right now.
Dude, okay. I think prime lenses are incredible, and I think when you're taking portraits, when you are working with a specific subject that you want to work with, right? So like, I don't know, if you need the extra oomph and you need the compression, prime lenses are the way to go. I think that I'm going to be a guilty pleasure, and a truth that I have realized is I ended up when I bought a Nikon Z6 III as my primary body, I switched all my lenses to Nikon lenses. No, I'm not rich, but I think there is a benefit in purchasing, if you are able to, buying the proprietary lens for that camera because of how it's built, the design, the functionality. Everything is going to work perfectly. Like the autofocus, the tracking, speed tracking, all of that. It's going to like, it's like a symphony.
It's just like Apple with their product. The ecosystem is going to work.
But I bought a 24-70 2.8 Nikkor lens, and I have not taken that lens off my camera. I think the 24-70 really is, and I'm sure a lot of the community can agree with me on the craft, but a 24-70 2.8 is probably the best all-around workhorse lens that you can use for everything. For portraits, you can use it for events, you can use it for weddings, like, and you don't have to ever change it. Like, I shot a whole wedding on a 24-70, and I had my second shooter, they were just shooting on their prime. And
that's why I have 2 or 3 bodies, because I hate changing lenses in events. And I rather have 3 bodies. I own 4. I think I have 4 Sony, but that's why, because like I feel like you waste time and you don't want to mix a moment. That's why I started like shooting with multiple cameras. The only thing I don't like is like you have to do that managing with the files afterwards. But going back to the lenses, one thing I don't like about
can I give you a tip on that? The managing the files?
Oh, I have a great solution for that.
We could talk about this all day.
Trust me, I have a great solution.
Guys, before on an event, please coordinate with your team. Everybody needs to put the same time on their cameras. Because if you don't, and you upload all those images so that you can call through them and go through all of it, it's going to be crazy. You're going to be upset. You're going to be like, wait, why did this happen before
I do this after every event that I do. I check all of my camera close, because for some reason they change. And I make sure I synchronize every time I have like a big event. I do that when I'm shooting with multiple bodies, but for the most part I shoot with a single body if it's something simpler. But when it's a wedding, I like to have 85 and 24-70, and there's time, you know, that's all you need. Honestly, if it's a big space, I will use the 70 to 200, because it's a bigger space and you need it, and that way you stay away from the people. But the only thing I hate about the 24-70 or the 28-75 is that with the zoom lens, with the time, with the focusing too much, you will get an effect that the image will look like it's blurred, but it's not. It's just like sometimes the focus could shift, could move just a tiny bit, and the image is not gonna be as sharp. And that's something that I realized with my...
Freya wants to know what's up. Let's go, Freya. Come on.
So that's one thing I realized with the lens, with the 24-70, that you have the...
Yo. Lay down. Lay down.
She's hungry.
She ate. Yo, why are you doing this? Just lay down. Thank you. She has an attitude.
Yeah, I can tell.
She has a big personality and an attitude, but it's okay. We love you, Freya.
That's like my son, Jeremy.
It's all good. But I agree. Let's get back on task. I agree with what you're saying, because some images, and this is why I say I think prime lenses are amazing when you shoot portraits. Great, you can use a zoom lens when you, again, because at the end of the day, it's depending on how much light you have.
Yep.
And the light is going to determine how in focus and how clear your image is.
Yeah, because you can shoot on 30, like you can
a 30th of a second.
Yeah, a 30th of a second, and you can have a sharp image.
You can
with flash.
With flash, and that's the thing. If you learn how to manipulate light, you can get a clear image. However, I always notice on a 24-70, if I'm shooting portraits sometimes, I want to switch to my prime because I know I'm going to get a clear image. I'm going to get a lot more compression.
That compression is
it's important, especially that's how you get the bokeh.
Yeah, I sometimes all that compression is. I like to isolate subject. For portrait is amazing, but I think for events sometimes you want to show of what's going behind and around, and a lot of people lose like their compression, everything compression. Sometimes you gotta like narrate with it. If you have like a big room with a lot of toys, do you wanna distract the audience, whoever's seen this photo, that way, or you want them to focus on one single thing? And that's when you use that compression. But I feel like most people look at the bokeh thing as their like it just look beautiful. Like some photographer, this is not everybody, but me personally, I like to compress most of the time where it's a portrait section. But
yeah,
when
you have one subject, you have one. You want to
I isolate the subject, you know.
Yeah.
And with light, you can do that as well. You know, I like to highlight the subject with light and separate them from the background, make them pop, which is something, you know, every portrait photographer know how to do well. The ones that know what they do.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, and you it's something again you do by practice.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I don't know. I think wow, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I know.
I think we have a lot to talk about. This is great. I think for a welcome episode, we covered a lot.
Yeah. Yep. And
we have a lot of topics to discuss in the future.
Nice.
So I'm excited. This is fun.
This was fun, definitely.
This is fun. Just sharing our experiences, and then, you know, even just sharing our own kind of ideas and styles. Because I think the community is going to benefit from that. And then also we get to have you guys participate.
This is like a welcome into the behind. I can grab a camera. I can grab a Sony right now, and like, and that's one of the things I did. I remember when I got my R3, my 7 R3, I bought a whole class about the camera, and this is a mistake a lot of people make. They just buy a camera, they start shooting, and they get to that event and they're trying to look for a setting, option or settings that they need to use, and they stuck there for like God knows how long, and they like, oh, where is this big feature? You know, you have to learn your gear by heart, cause like you're gonna be so efficient on location. That
knowing your gear is so important.
Have you had like, I don't know if you ever been to any events where you have a photographer and they have you waiting for like a good minute just so they can go through their cameras to get X setting, and that's okay. That happened to some of us.
So actually, I'm gonna share a tip that I ended up learning how to use. And just for the sake of time, I think this sounds like a profile
thing.
Yes, literally. And just for the sake of time, this is the last thing we'll mention on today's episode. But I think it's so important. And if you look on your camera dial on the top left, most cameras have it there. You have a user profile. You typically have three.
And you
3.
can have 4 with other cameras. You can have more.
Correct. So the nice thing about user profiles is that you can set up your profiles with custom settings for whatever you're shooting. Whether, like, I know for me, I have a user profile for weddings and portraits, and then I have a user profile for real estate. So
nice.
I know all I have to do is open the camera or turn it on, take it out of my case. I switch when I go to real estate, I switch. Guess what? The camera already knows it's gonna have a 2-second timer.
Nice.
For image taking, and then it's gonna go up to F14 typically, and it knows it has to take 5 stops for the images for
I used to do that 3.
exposures.
I didn't see much of the difference between 3 and 5.
Exposures?
Is there? Yeah. The
It
bracket.
depends. If you do bracketing,
I know it depends.
If you change, like for me, right? Like for my brackets, I do 1 exposure per bracket for 5 exposures.
Nice.
But if you do 3 and you do 2 exposures per bracket, now you have 6 stops. But I think sometimes that range is too wide.
Yeah, it is.
So
I like to keep it to 3 different range, and that's it.
Yeah, if you keep it close, if you keep it too far, I think.
Because I know people do like 10. That's the maximum you can do, like 10. I think you can do 10 or
so many.
8 or 9, but some people do that, and I'm like, I don't.
Okay, I mean, hey, but I mean, I'm sure for the purposes they're using it for is gonna help. But I don't think for me that's
extra stuff, bro. Like,
yeah, I can't.
It's
I don't
because,
think
like, in my opinion, you have already the dynamic range on the software, on the editing software, which you can readjust for any of that. So I don't think you need all of that. Yeah, in my opinion. But like, there's like useful for everything out there.
Okay. Yeah. Man, we talked about a lot.
Yeah, and I have more. We
got a lot more. So I think we're looking forward to the next episode, and this was really just an introduction to just what the podcast is going to really be about.
Yes.
And I think that as we move forward, there's going to be more niche conversations.
Yep.
Like, hey, today we're going to talk about what a client needs to look for in a photographer and why it needs to match what they're doing.
This new photographer needs to stop doing.
Oh yeah, we could talk about that. I mean, listen, the topics don't stop.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
And the whole goal of this is really just to share some value with you guys, share experiences, and then we want to make sure we have a space for the community to also join in and share their ideas, and who knows, maybe even be a part of the podcast sometime too.
Definitely.
So
we'll have some guys that we could definitely go on and on for hours here.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
But we know you guys don't want to listen to us for that long, so it's okay. But that's it.
Yeah.
Until the next episode, right?
Hell yeah.
What do they say?
Hasta la vista.
Okay,
yeah.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Hasta la vista.
Close the shutter or something like that. Yeah. Like,
all right, bro. That's it. Stop talking. We're done.
F22. Like, F22 this. Yeah, F22. That's like,
F32 this.
Yeah, let's like.
Peace.
Peace out.